Hey guys, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the filter function in JavaScript. I've already created the map function. If you want, you can just check out that video as well. So let's see how the filter function works. This is quite important and used very frequently nowadays. So let's see the method signature first of exactly what are the arguments that need to be passed in. So first of all, we are going to be using the array on which we want to be filtering, say dot filter, and it basically takes in the function which is having the same kind of method signature as the map function. So the first parameter is the current value. So you have the index of the array element on which it's iterating, and you have the original array. And you also have the option of passing the this value. And the most important point to note over here when you're using the filter function is it's going to be filtering or reducing the number of elements that's given in the original array. So it's going to be returning those elements which match the condition, and it's going to be returning false or nothing in case the condition fails. So let's just try to see a visual example over here first. We are passing in three kind of elements over here, and we are running the filter function on it, and we have the item. So item is basically every item present in the array. So it goes over the first item, it checks whether it is an apple. Well, it's not an apple, so it returns nothing. In the second case, it goes over and sees the second element, which is an apple. It matches to the apple over here. And since the condition is true, it returns the original element. Same thing for the grapes. It tries to compare it with the apple. It does not find a match and it returns nothing. So in the end, we can see that it returns an array with just one element. So this is basically how the filter function is going to be working. Now I'm just repeating myself, but please remember, whenever you're using the filter function, it's going to be returning either the same number of value in case everything matches, or it's just going to be returning a subset of the original array. So let's just dive into the code and see how this works. So I have my code editor opened over here. Now, if you want to be getting a reference of all of this, you can just open up my GitHub account, which is there in the description below. And I'm just going to be writing the code right here. Okay, so let's just see the examples. So the first one is for filtering the numbers greater than 18. So we have been given a list of numbers and we just want to be finding the numbers which are greater than 18. You can basically be doing this using a for function, but we are going to be using the filter, which makes it really easy. So first of all, let's uncomment this out and let's say const list equal to this, and we'll say const filtered list equals to list dot filter. And in this, we can be passing in a function. Now the signature of this function is same as we have in the map. So you can either type in function and then you can be basically passing in a function here with the arguments, or instead you can also use the arrow function. So you can put an arrow function just like this. Now the parameters are the value, the index, and finally the original array. Okay, with that done, let's see how we can be doing the filtering. So we are basically going to be returning the value greater than 15. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now, if I just try to do a console.log filtered list, and this should give me the expected result. So I'll put up in my console node 03 array filter. Now in this, you can see the output array, which is the filtered of the original one. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the filter function basically returns a subset of the original array that was provided. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward. One more optimization that you can do in the syntax over here is, since we don't have any other calculation, this return is redundant. So you can basically get rid of the return, rid of the curly brackets, and simplify it even further. Since we are not even using the parameters, you can even simplify it further by removing the extra parameters and keep it just like this. So now you can see how concise the entire filtering becomes. Let's see the next example. This is an array of objects. Now this is like a more practical scenario which you might be facing when you're developing some application. Let's uncomment this out and see how it works. The question is filter the list of people where the age is greater than 18. The concept is going to be pretty same what we have seen over here. If you want, you can just take a break and try to do it yourself. If not, you can just follow along with me. Okay, so let's just type in the filtered list. So I'll put up as const filtered list of people equals to list of people dot filter. And in this, we have the val. And I do not really need the other parameters of index and the original array, so I'm not using it. I'm just typing in directly. So over here, since we are using val, now please note it does not indicate any single parameter here. So this is the first item in the array, then the second item, it's an object that we are iterating. So we can say val dot, and then we have the three options which are there in the particular object. So here we are comparing the age and we say greater than 18. So that's about it. Now if I just say console.log filtered list of people, we should be getting the expected output. So in this you can see we have the new array with the filtered list of people where the age is greater than 18. Okay, so that was pretty easy. Let's move on to the next one, and you can try to do this yourself. The question says that we are going to be filtering on multiple conditions and we're going to be using the same array which was over here. Now instead of just comparing with age greater than 18, you just need to be putting in two conditions of age and the nationality. So let's just do it quickly. I'm just going to be copying this entire thing. Let's put it as filter list people 2. So instead of just comparing the age, I'll put up a bracket over here and I'll say and val dot nationality is equals to US. Okay, so let's just console.log this out as well. So I'll say filtered list of people 2, and let's try to run this. Now you can see that there's just one person over here, which is Ria, where the age is greater than 18 and the nationality was US. Now one question that you might be seeing over here is, why did I use this round bracket instead of the normal curly brackets? So instead of doing something like this, I just use the round brackets. Well, basically when you use the round brackets, it automatically returns the value. In this case, it's not going to be returning anything. So if I just try to run this now, you can see I get a blank array because it does not return anything. If I want to be using this curly brackets, I need to explicitly put the return keyword. So I need to say return and then the calculation that whatever I'm doing is true or not. Okay, so now this should work as expected, and in fact it does. Alright, so just to recap, basically the filter function is going to be returning the value if it evaluates to true, such as in the case of the age where it evaluated to greater than 18, or in the case of the simple numbers where we were calculating whether the value is greater than 15 or not. Okay, so that's about it for filter. Let's take a break and I'm going to be creating another video in which we are going to be covering one of the most confusing functions, which is the reduce function. So do keep a check on that as well.